are back with comedian David Boyle, and I'm quitting alcohol. So this fucking move to India is happening very fucking rapidly. You always forget how fucking fast it goes. You're like, oh, I've got 6 weeks. I've got heaps of fucking time. But now it's only fucking 3 weeks. I'm out of this house in 3 weeks. Then 2 weeks in Sydney, and then to fucking India for fuck knows how long. That is really up in the fucking air how long I'm going to be in India for. I would say at a minimum it's going to be 6 months. What's 6 months from March? March, April, May, June, July, August. Yeah, it's definitely going to be longer than 6 months. My sister-in-law's wedding is in September, and then that's going to fucking probably stretch into October. So there's 7, 8 months. Then there's November, December. We're probably not going to fucking come home over Christmas. So we're looking at January, which is 10 months. And then it all fucking depends on being able to get back. Apparently there's still 30,000 Australians stuck overseas, desperately wanting to get back. Probably with good reason too. No one I've told we're going to India to has been very fucking supportive about the whole thing. People are actually fucking terrified. A lot of people right now wouldn't even leave the country if they could. Which is crazy to me. People think it's crazy going to India right now, which it probably is a little bit. But I think it's crazy just staying in the same place. Fucking get out there, roll the dice. See what else the world is doing. I might even try and get into some fucking Bollywood movies. How about that? It's actually very easy for whiteys to get into Bollywood movies. If you watch a Bollywood movie, there's always a fucking random bunch of fucking hot white girls or weird white dudes in every single Bollywood movie. When you're in Mumbai, you just walk around and someone will come up to you. This is if you're white, but someone will come up to you and say, do you want to be in a Bollywood movie? And you think it's a fucking scam like everything else in India is a fucking scam. But it's not really a scam. All they need is some shitty extra. They don't pay you. They give you like a chai and that's it. But you get to be in a Bollywood movie, which is pretty cool. Last time I was in Mumbai, well, I've only been there once. So the only time I was in Mumbai, I got asked to be in a movie, but it was my last day there. I was heading to the bar to drink all day. That was my plan. I was just going to drink every last cent I had. And that's what I did. I sat there and drank for about 8 hours. Almost missed my flight. Almost ran out of money because I miscalculated how much the taxi was going to be to the airport. But it was a good day drinking, so I had to say no to the Bollywood movie. I fucking run out of money every single time I go overseas as well. The first time I went overseas by myself was to Thailand and Cambodia and Laos. And the last 3 days of that trip, I was in fucking Phuket. I had no fucking money left, but I had booked a room, so I had a room for 3 nights, but I had no money for food. I had no money to drink. I had nothing. And the room was nowhere near the fucking beach either, so I had no money to get into town. So I'm like, fuck this. I've got 3 days left. I need to do something. So I had 2 books. I can't remember what the books were. And I had my iPod. And it wasn't like a fucking cool iPod. It was one of those USB ones. I was like, maybe I can get like $40 for it. Back then, that was all right. There wasn't any fancy fucking iPhones back then. There was no fucking internet barely. So I found someone to sell it to, and it had one little scratch on it. So he fucking knocked me down to like $30. So I think I got like $30 for it and a couple of bucks for the books. And I'm like, thank God I can just stretch this out for 3 days. I'll just eat a couple of pad thais on the street, a couple of fucking satay skewers. I'm good. Get a couple of bottles of water. I will be fine. So I caught one of those like truck taxi type things down to the beach, went to the 7-Eleven, bought a packet of smokes and a beer, and drank all that $30 in about 2 hours. So then I had like 2.5 days left with no money, nothing to sell besides my body. Nothing to eat, nothing to drink, couldn't even fucking buy a bottle of water. So I'm like, all right, well, I'm officially fucked now. And I'm not going to go begging for money around town. So I spent a day just walking around starving. And then I'm like, fuck this. I'm going to the airport. I went to the airport like 22 hours before my flight. But I'm like, I've got some Valiums. There's some fucking water at the airport. I can drink water at least. And maybe I'll steal a couple of half-eaten Big Macs at the airport or something. So I just went to Phuket airport and just fucking tried to sleep for 22 hours. Then finally got on the plane. I hadn't eaten and I was waiting for this meal to come. Fuck, I was waiting for this meal. And then I realized, just as I sat down, just as we were taking off, I was like, oh, this is a fucking budget flight. You had to prepay your fucking meal, and I was too much of a tight ass to pay for it. So I had no meal on the plane either, and my dad picked me up at the airport. I hadn't eaten for 3 days. I was like hallucinating. He took me straight from Sydney airport to the Dog, the Duke of Gloucestershire in Sydney. It was famous for steaks back then. I don't even know if it's around anymore. But I smashed through 2 400-gram fucking rump steaks and a few beers, and then I spent the next 48 hours violently ill. As fucking ill as I've ever been. I don't know what the fuck it was. Maybe I was in starvation mode or something, and there's fucking chemicals in the meat or something, but I felt like I was going to die for about 24 hours. And then the next 24 hours, I only felt like I wanted to kill myself. What the fuck was my point again? I don't think I really had a point. At the start, it was Bollywood movies, moving to India. Now it's I run out of money whenever I go overseas. And I did. I could never budget. I would just drink and live large until my money ran out. And it always ran out. One time in South America, I was traveling with a mate, and I ran out of fucking money 5 weeks early. And I kept my finances real quiet to the guy I was traveling with until about like maybe 3 or 4 days before I actually ran out of money completely. And then I told him, I think we were in Ecuador or something, and we still had a long fucking time left. I'm like, listen, man, I'm not too sure what happened. A couple of my calculations have been a little bit array. I might not have carried the zero somewhere, but I have run out of money tomorrow. Do you reckon I could borrow some money off you? And he's like, what the fuck are you talking about? We've got like 5 weeks left. I'm like, yeah, I know. We do have 5 weeks left. That's a very good point. So it's going to have to be a lot of money you lend me. I think I ended up borrowing about 5 grand off him. It might have been 4 grand. It was a lot of money and he wasn't overly happy about it. But I said to him, this is the way I played it. I'm like, look, I don't want to be asking you for money like every fucking second day. So the best thing to do in this situation here is you just give me a big chunk of money. I don't want to be fucking around with like, hey, can you get some money out of the ATM? Just give me 5,000 now and I'll give it back to you when we get back. Which makes complete sense, really, doesn't it? You don't want to be handing out 50s every fucking 2 days. Just give it all now. He wasn't overly happy about it, and he was like, do you even have a job when we get back? I'm like, listen, I'll get the money back to you. I'm good with money. I know how to budget. If there's anyone you can trust with money, it's me. Now, my account details are, can you fucking transfer that 5G in? Anyway, that's it for tonight. If you're enjoying the podcast, give it a share around with your friends, your family, your grandparents, your children. Hit me up on social media. I'm Boyle Comedy on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And I'll see you the fuck later.